אוקיי. בוקר טוב לכולם, אני נמצא כאן כרגע באלבמה. אני נמצא כאן יחד עם גברת טרי נאבה, היא מנהלת של חברת הניהול הנכסים אלבמה רנטל מנג'רס, ואנחנו נקבל קצת רקע לגבי איך בדיוק מתנהל כל הנושא של תהליך של ההשכרה וניהול הנכסים גם כאשר אנחנו נמצאים בארץ. Good morning, Terri.
Good morning.
It's very good and nice to be here.
Good, we're glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Thank you very much. The reason that I'm having this interview with you is to show and to explain to our guys and the investors in Israel how this management process is going to happen, how it is done,
Okay.
and to let them know that the whole process is much easier than some of them may expect.
Right, right, absolutely.
Because some of them they are overseas,
Right.
and we are here talking about properties in USA.
Right, that they can't see or get to visit, right?
That's right. And not all of them can have the chance to come
Yeah.
and visit like myself.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. So first of all, can you describe the activity of a property management company?
Okay.
What usually that they do and what is their responsibilities?
Okay. A property management company, the activities are, there are a lot to count, to be honest, but we start from, we're responsible for leasing and managing an investor's property, which starts from marketing and advertising to showing the prospects, to qualifying and screening the prospects, to moving them in, doing inspections with the prospect, doing interior inspections during the lease term, coordinating maintenance, handling lease renewals, any requests from the owner or any requests from the residents, we facilitate those, making sure the resident is adhering to all of the lease terms, paying their rent on time, taking care of the property, and collecting rent, of course, which is one of the most important aspects for the investor themselves, and providing accounting statements of monthly activity and pushing direct deposit payments for the owners, and also providing cash flow statements for the end of the year for tax purposes. So in a nutshell, that's what a property management in general is responsible for.
Okay, great. So does the owner of the property has any connection with the tenant?
Not typically. Here in Alabama, we have what we call privacy laws. So we're not able to give personal information to the actual investor. Now the investor will receive a copy of the lease agreement so that they can have that for their records, which will have the resident's name on it and their signature just to show that they agree to all of the terms.
Right.
As far as direct contact, it can be done with permission from the resident.
The thing is that bothers most of the investors that they don't want to be bothered by the tenant.
Right, right.
So in this term, what I'm saying is, does the tenant know the owner? It's not an option.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
Right?
Not an option.
They know only the property management company.
That is correct.
That's it.
That is correct.
It is a very good thing to
Yes,
to
yes.
know. It's a big bonus for
the
investor.
investors, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
Another thing is, how does the management company screen the tenants?
Okay.
How can we avoid, unwanted tenants in our properties?
Right, and unpaying and
Yes, and with criminal records and so on.
We have a very stringent screening process. So we do a credit check, criminal background check, employment and income verification, and rental history verification. So looking at a applicant's credit is going to tell us how responsible they are in paying their bills. Do they pay their car payment on time? Do they pay their other liabilities, credit cards on time, bank loans, whatever else they may have. So looking at that gives us a good idea. Their income verification will let us know, can they afford to pay the monthly rent every single month? So we have them provide us, written documentation, pay stubs usually, a letter from an employee.
And you make sure that all this information is correct.
Correct. Contact information for the employer, so it's verifiable. And they have to make 3 times the monthly rent to make sure that they can pay the rent on a monthly basis. The criminal background, we sweep a national database that looks for felonies and misdemeanors, because those types of residents we don't want in our, not only in your property, but in our communities where we have other residents in the same community. And then a rental history verification. This is the most important to us, because it's going to tell us, they give us their previous landlord or apartment community information. We contact them and we find out, did they pay their rent on time? How long did they live there? Did they cause any problems within the community?
Actually get recommendations.
Right, exactly. Did they cause any damage to the property? Did they get their security deposit back? Did they take care of the property while they were there? Those are very important aspects and are telltale signs whether a resident's going to take care of the property and pay their rent on time.
Great. Another question related to what you mentioned before is how can we make sure that the new tenants are not going to make any damages to the property?
We do interior inspections during the lease term. We do we document the condition of the property at move-in. That's most important. So when our agent meets them there to do the move-in, sign the lease, they walk around with them and they fill out a move-in inspection form that documents the condition of the property. Secondly, 6 months into the lease agreement, we go and we physically go into the property and we check the condition of the property, the walls, the floors.
From time to time, not in the end of the lease.
No, not in the end of the lease. We do it at the beginning, in the middle, and then 3 months before the lease is up. We can do quarterly inspections. We can do one every 3 months. That has to be requested by the investor in writing. Doesn't cost anything in additional. That's part of our management services if they want additional inspections done.
And if they see that the damage was caused to the property, how can you make sure that there's securities or anything that can cover this damage?
Okay, one of the ways we make sure that that's covered is we charge a 1-month security deposit. So that security deposit is collected before the resident moves in, and it's held by our company in a trust account. So we have that. If we go into a property and we find damage in the property, let's say that the carpet is just stained and we know it's not going to be able to be cleaned. At that time, we send a resident a letter letting them know this is what we've discovered. We have added a charge for carpet replacement to your account that you will have to pay on a monthly basis until it's paid in full. So there we have the amount to replace the carpet when the resident moves out. So we charge them in advance for any damage that we find.
Okay, very good. Another thing is that bothers the investors usually what is the let's say the average cost that there's the maintenance costs and the management fees and so on. So actually, what if let's say I'm getting a rent for $1,000, how much from this amount will be left to the owner, let's say before tax?
Before tax, on a monthly basis, if your rent's $1,000, your management fee for our Safe Future clients is 9%. So we take $90. So you'll get, what's that? 1,000 minus 90. So that's your monthly income before taxes. If there are maintenance expenses, which on average for a property across our portfolio, it's an average of $500 a year in expenses. Whether it be a leaking
but there's also
faucet,
there's the property tax and the HOA tax and so on.
Right, depending on the community that you're in. And the taxes also depend on the county that you're in and the assessed value. So that's hard to average because it's different.
Let's have a rule of thumb. Let's say if I'm getting $1,000, what the percentage that will be left? It's 80%, 90%?
I would say 80%.
80%. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
good average.
That's a good rule of thumb. Okay, great. Another thing is, how does the owner of the property get updated about the expenses and the income?
The owner, as far as expenses, if there are maintenance expenses, they are contacted by our maintenance coordinator. So that is our team member that handles all of the incoming repair requests from the residents. So if a repair request comes in for an investor's property, our maintenance coordinator will then send the owner an email or an investor an email, let them know what the issue is, and that, you know, permission to dispatch a contractor.
Right.
The only way the investor would not be notified immediately is if it were something that was after hours or on the weekends and it was an emergency. We have to go ahead and take care of the problem to make sure the property is protected.
Right.
And as far as income, rent's due on the 1st of the month. It's late after the 5th for the residents. The owners are notified of their income that they received with their monthly statement and direct deposit, which is pushed on the 15th and 16th of each month.
Okay, great. You usually, the Alabama Rentals company, manage how many properties about?
Right now we're 900 to 1,000.
About 1,000 properties.
Yeah, about 1,000.
And what average, what is the percentage of them that are non-US citizens that have the properties?
That rent the properties or that own the properties?
No, I said the properties that you manage.
That are owners? That are investors?
The investors are non-US citizens.
I would say of our inventory, about 5%.
5%. So we're talking about 50%.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. So you are very, let's say, experienced with working with non-US citizens.
Yes,
so
very much so.
You have the best practice for that. So
yes.
It's not something that the investor can be quiet and rely that you know to do the job and to be...
Correct. And we've actually implemented a few additional things for our international investors that we don't for our U.S. because they have the ability to do it themselves, like paying HOA fees, paying property taxes, and paying HOA dues. We take care of that for our international and foreign investors.
All right, great. Another thing is about marketing the properties. What are the marketing channels that you use? Let's say would like to rent my property.
Okay.
And I believe that you know how to market it and to expose it to the wide world.
Right, to the wide world, that's right. And we start with our website. Right now we have found that the majority of all prospects start on the internet with their search. So our marketing department works on a daily and weekly basis to make sure that Alabama Rental Manager stays at the very top of the search engines when prospects are looking for properties.
Okay.
So our properties are pushed out through our website, which also allows other websites to pick up our listings. So your Zillow, Trulia, ForRent.com,
the most popular website so that anyone that wants to rent or to buy a house will go on.
That is correct. That is correct. Also, we use our property signs, our for rent signs that go in the yard. So because you do have those people prospects that drive around on the weekends and after work and look at the community that that they're interested in. So there's our sign with our phone number and the website. That's right. So they can get all the information they need if they're at the property, which makes it very convenient.
Yes.
Also, there's another website that's very popular that doesn't syndicate. It's Craigslist.com, so we manually post our listings 3 and 4 times a week on that website.
So you promote the ads there on manual basis.
That's right. We also use a lot of social media, Facebook, Twitter, those types of things. YouTube. We now have video tours of all of the inside of the properties.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So we do a lot to get some visibility to all of our investors' properties. To get
so actually they know in advance what they're going to see there on field.
Exactly.
Great, great. Another thing is how long the average, let's say, that it takes to rent or to sell a house in the Metro Birmingham area?
To rent a property, it's 2 to 3 weeks from completion date. A lot of the times we have someone ready and waiting to move in when the home is complete. As far as the sales market, because I don't handle the sales, my specialty is property management. I'm not sure about market times on the sales side, but Mike and Misty would be able to answer that for you.
All right. Okay, great. How can the owner make sure that to reduce the time that the property will stand without a tenant?
There are several things that we can do when a property first hits the market. When we first start pushing it, we should get, you know, inundated with prospects. We should get a lot of prospects. That lets us know that, you know, the property is priced right for the location that it's in. There are other things that investors can do. They can offer some incentives. They can offer gift cards or additional amenities to the properties, like
maybe upgrades.
Like upgrades, like blinds. You can offer half a month free, but extend the lease term so you recoup those funds that you gave away on the front end.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Another thing, my last question. Finally. What is the commitment of the owner of the property to the management company? If, for example, the owner is not happy with the service and whatever, is there any long-term commitment or?
The contracts, it depends. The contracts are based on a year, and if there's a resident in the property, then the resident, because we procured the resident belongs to Alabama rental managers. So there is, you know, there is a termination clause in our agreement should the investor not be happy. So we're not married to each other.
Of course.
So there is the termination clause where the investor can
terminate. It's quite an easy protocol to, let's say, to separate part if someone is not happy, which is not the case.
Is not very often,
in the new case. But it's not, let's say, a Catholic wedding.
Correct.
In this case.
Right, absolutely. We would just follow the terms of the agreement if the owner or investor was not happy.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Terri, for your time and for the interview. And I very hope that the Israeli investors will take the advantage and to understand this whole process and to come and to invest also in Alabama.
We would love to have them, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Okay.